is Matt and Cheese.
Yay! Documenting our life, one adventure at a time.
How we met, because it's pretty
That's a horrible
important.
place to start.
It is a terrible place to start.
Well, it all started way back when. Just kidding.
We met on this lovely site
It's being so weird to say it.
called Match.com. So I was searching through these guys and I was like, Matt Spear.
It's not what it said, but okay.
What did it say? It said Captain Matt. It's always said it because it's the number 10, so it couldn't be one word. But that's how it's supposed to be.
Alright.
It's pretty attractive, fit my criteria.
Which was, has a face, can speak English.
Has only 2 arms.
Only
3.
two.
I decided I was going to wink at him. It all
More
started with a
flirtatious.
wink. Don't remember how long it was till he winked back, but eventually he did, which was fantastic.
It was like 4 or 5 months.
It was not. He winked back and I was like, oh man, this is great.
Oh shoot, it's a deal. Locked in.
You know what? Gonna message this guy. I'm gonna throw it all out there. We messaged for a while. Then he gave me his personal email.
Big step.
It was a big step. And then we started emailing, decided to meet up, go on a first date at Napper Tandy's Irish Pub on karaoke night.
Alright, so that'll be another,
Oh, okay.
another part of the
Yeah.
story. My perspective. So, big fan of Groupon. Had a Match.com Groupon, right? It was like 3 months. And I was like, dude, let's give it a shot. Let me see this all about. Matching people like on things more than just, oh shoot, she hot though. And yeah, signed up, few weeks, nothing doing. I was like, this is kind of dumb. And it been like 3 or 4 weeks. I was wanting to really find anything. Then I'm like, I get an email like, oh, this girl winked at you. Take a look. I was like, all right, she cute though. And look at like her thing, athletic body type, check. She had a picture of her running or something, check. Things in the profile, like the interests. I was like, all right, good to go. Let me just send this wink back. Get an email from her like the next day. I was like, all right, like this girl's for serious though. Emailing back and forth and like everything she said, I was like, this is not a real thing. Like I promised everything she was saying matched up like perfectly. I like this. I'm like, oh my God, no way, I like that too. I'm like, oh, I like to do this. I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is not for real. I was like more and more like feeling catfished, right? But then I'm like, you know, I don't know how she would get all this information about me without me saying it. Because it's not like, oh, I like this movie. And she's like, oh, that's fantastic. I like this movie too. But the fact that she was bringing it up. You know, when we got to the point where we're talking about like going out, you know, to meet up or whatever. Of course, I had to do my research, make sure she wasn't a serial killer, whatever. So I'm like looking up and like, of course, you know, you do the typical Google search, you know, I checked the Facebooks and I was like, there's like nothing on her wall. And I was like, that sounds sketch. So I'm like looking up, I was like, how to tell if a Facebook profile is fake. And like, I looked all this stuff up and it's like, apparently you don't really know. There's only things that are like, because you can't see when the Facebook was made. It was like, oh, you know, if there's nothing, you know, beyond the past few months. And she has some stuff up there from a couple of years back. So I was like, that's good. There's like 3 things on that. And there's like 3 pictures. And I was like, oh, Facebook's privacy settings. Like, oh, maybe everything's hidden. Turned out it was. But I was still like super skeptical, right? So when we're like talking about meeting up, you know, like this place, this time, whatever. At this point, I'm still not like 100% convinced because it was just, I've never had a female like push it that hard or really like come after me like that very forward, which is not a bad thing. Like it was a hell of a lot easier than playing the Ring Around the Rosie game. Like having her come after me was, it was like offsetting a little bit. So I said, we agree to meet up. I go, and I'm like, I talked to Chris, and I was like, all right, here's the situation. This is all the things that I'm worried about. This is all things that makes me think it's real. do I go for it or not? And he's like, this is what he said to me. So he was like, if it is her, that's fantastic. No, nothing to worry about, right? If it isn't her, you can take him. So it's either a really old guy, a real fat guy, or the chances it's going to be a young, athletic, guy that's worth a threat. I'm like, good point. So I went for it. Turned out, went really well.